Hello, everybody, and welcome to Surviving the Podcast. What is this?
It's a
Hi, I'm 12, and what is
thing?
this?
Hi.
It's where we talk about the shit that happened while making the first
Like
five?
3
Arc?
episodes?
Four.
Four episodes.
4 episodes.
I remember
so-
nothing.
So every arc, we're going to have an episode like this. This is called Surviving the Podcast. It's going to be between the weeks where we would normally upload an episode. So don't worry, you're not losing any content when we upload one of these. Our first arc, we just wrapped it up. It was called Filled to Capacitor. So
Like the puns.
it was a dumb pun,
I like
and I
the
ran
pun.
with it.
It's good, I like it.
So, I guess this is kind of like going to be the part where we interact with listeners. Now, we don't have anything going on for this first arc because we're still recording this before launch. But, we have a Twitter, at FalloutSOTN. I mentioned this, I think pretty much every episode except for episode 1. You can tweet about us, you can mention us at FalloutSOTN, or you can use the hashtag FalloutSOTN or Survivors of the North. And we might include your name in a future episode as a character.
I sure as fuck would cry if you did that, because that would be such a nice thing to
Yeah.
Wait, we're ripping off the Adventure Zone
The
again?
thing to do that's
do.
common?
Please tweet at us, even if it's just to say the word.
Oh, wait.
A lot of actual play podcasts do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like common among podcasts.
It
It's
is.
pretty common
It's fun.
for...
Especially one that we all listen to and is dear to our heart.
You don't listen to it, Jimmy.
I
You
know
do
I don't.
not.
I do actually listen to it, the same, 2 episodes over and over
Oh.
again until I actually understand what's going on. But my pea
Okay.
brain is too small.
So yeah, you can tweet about us, and we might include your name if if it fits tonally or something from your profile. I don't know. Are we gonna make a Patreon? We don't have one currently,
We might.
but
We should.
yeah.
Squeeze the sense out of our viewers' pockets.
As soon as we get one review on Apple Podcasts.
I already gave us a review, I think, on Stitcher. So
You
Not
promote
an Apple
it.
podcast.
It's your own podcast, man. I feel like a review for your own podcast is a little.
I can do what I want.
If video game companies could make false reviews for their
Yeah.
stuff, we can do it too.
It's not like I mean, I literally said in it that I'm the one who made it. Yeah, we may. If it won't be the kind of thing where we lock a bunch of extra content behind it. We might put some bonus shit,
Yeah.
minor stuff, but we won't record full episodes. At least for now, we don't plan on doing
We,
that.
we, we will record an episode every now and then made specifically for Patreons. That way, if you're not a Patreon, you can't get what you have to skip ahead of
just a part of the series.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
the cliffhanger, and then
No,
the next episode is just patrons.
It's just
only.
completely unrelated.
Nah, I'd say a side mini campaign would be more.
We
fun
may.
For that.
Yeah, I mean, if we ever want to record a one shot, that would be where we would put it.
Yeah.
But we don't have a Patreon yet. We may in the future.
Another big thing is a lot of works in progress would be really fun to post there, because let's see here, Max, you make the music. I
Mhm.
don't really make the art. God, what happened to me?
I'll
I used
make
to
the
be-
art.
Well, actually, I used to be more depressed back then, so let's just pretend that
I did. I paid you money.
You used to be cool.
You just
I'm
took
sorry,
my money.
I need to do it. I have you and one other person I just need to finish all commissions on, and then I'm free, and I could draw as much porn as I want without any worry.
Hell yeah.
Without any
Porn.
feeling of guilt.
So I was gonna say, we were talking about maybe opening up the Discord server we use to record this podcast
Yeah.
to fans of the show. The thing is, we're starting off the ground, don't have any listeners. We may open it up as the audience grows. We might have a chance for people to come, chat with us about the podcast.
I mean, maybe we should make a new server?
I think we.
So they can't read our chat history.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, they could go all the way back to when.
Back to the Boyfell days.
Oh god,
Yeah.
yeah. That might be important to make a new one.
Yeah. So, if
Or
if
at
there's
least
enough
make every channel in this one private.
I was thinking that might be our solution, and then just make copies of the new channels, but blank.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. But if there's enough demand for that, we may open a Discord server and chat with some fans.
Yeah.
That's enough. Fuck. What? No. Wait. That's enough housekeeping. Housekeeping. That's the word.
Housekeeping.
I think so. we just finished the first arc.
Oh, nice. All right, good recording. See you guys next week.
Good recording. That's the full episode. No, what did you guys think?
It was fun.
It's cool.
It was interesting.
I didn't get to play.
I feel bad about that. One thing I noticed,
No, it's cool.
because the thing is, with a Fallout game, like New Vegas or 3 or 4, you don't get as much control over what you can do with a video game versus with a tabletop game. And you don't get this kind of 3 characters, 2 characters, multiple characters all working together to come to a goal with any game other than 76, but that doesn't exist. We have decided that doesn't exist.
It's not.
So you don't get that kind of control over what happens with a video game.
It's really fun because I've never played a Fallout game before,
Me neither.
and I'm considering waiting until this campaign is over to use one of Max's. I still need to catch up on Skyrim and Oblivion. God, I've been missing out. But
Max, do you have New Vegas?
I have New Vegas and 3, and I have access to the whole
Sai,
series.
you're gonna play New Vegas because 3 is kind of dookie compared to New Vegas gameplay wise.
I'm just gonna save my Fallout virginity until. I'm kidding,
But yeah, I like the format of the tabletop game within the Fallout universe. Not to say the Fallout games are bad, because I still like the Fallout games, the one of them that I've played, being New Vegas.
76.
But as someone who has never played a Fallout game and is experiencing this world all for the first time, it's not only really cool, but it's making me kind of upset that in the Fallout games I can't I can't make these wild plans like this. I can't have this level of fun interaction. And not everything is up to random chance. It's kind of more fun because it lets you be creative.
It lets you riff off of the world in a way that the video games don't, and riff off of other characters in a way that the video games don't. One thing I really liked that really surprised me that Jimmy did in episode 3 was you came to me and you said, I want to have a vision of a cockroach who tells me to do shit just randomly because I'm so fucked up on drugs.
What
And
He told you what? Is that what the song was about?
Yeah, it's about my dad, Papa Skuff, aka
I thought
Tyra.
for a second it was a reference to the final Pam and her fucking cockroach son, but no.
I know,
Yeah.
that's my dad.
I
That's your dad?
before I went into that recording session, that was not something I had ever considered. And Jimmy just brought that idea to me and he's like, "Do you want to do this?" And I'm like, "I would love to do this. This is incredible and creative and fucking ridiculous, and I think it fits this game very well." And I loved it. Another thing that you came up with, Ant, was putting the poster on the window.
Yeah, with spit. The zoo book page.
It was a really dumb, silly, probably ultimately pointless thing that you did.
But it gave privacy through my window. It was character moment.
It was a character moment, and it's not the kind of thing you would get to do in one of the video games, which I really like. And again, like I said, there's a bunch of ways that you can riff off of other characters, which I think I really liked how Jimmy and how Papa Skuff just went and attacked Mandy's dad, and that's going to have consequences for the rest of the series, right? That's the kind of thing that you don't really have as much chance to do in the video games. That's basically the whole.
Everyone disliked that.
Everyone disliked. Mandy disliked that the most.
Yeah, my best friend, who I forgot her name through most of the entire season.
Yeah.
I kept calling her Mindy.
Mindy. Let's see. I think you may have called her Minty once or twice.
Yeah.
Were there any other moments like that stuck out to you guys?
Oh my god. I feel like, okay, I was not expecting the level of just Papa Scuffitude that came out. I think one of my favorite moments, of course, is the obvious, what did I make that random dude's name to be? made a random dude on the spot, pretended to be him.
Timothy.
Timothy. And then Papa
Timothy.
Scuff was like, oh yeah, hi, I'm Papa Scuff.
Oh.
You got any bathrooms
And
around here? I need to pee. Like,
Yeah.
the
I was looking
nonchalant,
for the
"Hi."
bathroom and I kind of lost my way.
Yeah, just the complete and total nonchalant, not even pretending
Yeah.
to be Tim.
I love all of your characters, even the one that I haven't seen yet. I love all of your characters very much.
Okay, I like to one of my favorite characters by far, besides Papa Scuff and the characters we know already that we're playing is Howard Todd.
Yes.
Beautiful man, the myth, the legend. Yeah.
I like.
Howard Todd.
Well, because the joke is that he's Todd Howard, but the names are switched.
We all know the joke.
Everyone knows.
I don't think we need to explain the joke.
Now I don't know if you know this, but
His name is
Howard Todd is Todd Howard's backwards, kind of ish. Namesake wise.
But I mean, at first it was just gonna be like your drug buddy, who you hung out with, and then he sort of like turned into this guy who has mysterious powers or something, and just kind of shows up.
When we need him most.
Does he slowly become more and more of an eldritch god?
Yeah, he's like.
Is he secretly Lefty's character and he's just been telling you what he wants to do
That would
the
be
whole time?
That would be hilarious. No, that's not what. That's not his character. Yeah, there were a couple things that I think I set up at the beginning of the first episode and kind of before that never really ended up happening. Like, I think one of the first things I said to you guys about Vault 79 was that because of the lack of resources, there was a lot of cannibalism, and that never really came to fruition.
That was a thing?
I think I mentioned it, but it never really came to fruition.
I did not remember that at all.
I was gonna say, cannibalism would solve a lot of the problems.
God, no, I would rather have the gray goo.
Maybe
Well,
that's...
you don't know. You were born into the world that could have been with cannibalism,
Maybe
so you wouldn't have a
the
opinion.
gray goo was the cannibalism.
Yeah.
No.
I can't wait to have some apple goo.
Dun, dun, dun.
What if Great Aunt Jemima, after croaking, got shoved into the goo grinder and was made into a delectable treat?
God.
Great
That
Aunt
cannot be beat.
Jemima?
Yeah.
Is
Isn't
that...
that the fucking, like, cooking mascot?
I think that's the rice. I think it's like a rice lady or something.
Hmm.
Hold on, like a rice mascot.
I have no
Yeah,
idea.
that's one of the... Kind of like Betty Crocker.
Aunt Jemima, syrup. That's yes, and pancakes.
So another example of one of those things that I set up was that this is going to be a few years before you leave the vault. And I had planned for that to be the case up until Jimmy stabbed a man. At which point I was like, there's no way they're staying in the vault, right? And I don't want to split the party, like, more than it already is, because we already have 2 and 1 character separated and we don't even know where one of them is. So I'm like, what can I do that makes it so you guys don't end up all split up? So I'm like, fuck it, you're all leaving the vault now. Some external circumstances causing you to leave the vault, and we'll find out what that is next time. And I made sure to ask everybody, are you guys cool with playing your characters as they are? Did you want could, and everyone said yes, so that's what we ended up doing.
It was the weirdest thing though, because essentially my planned arc for Ant was thrown out.
Everybody's
the window.
planned arc
was-
for anything.
And I was like, it wasn't like a bad thing. It was more like just unexpected.
What was your planned arc? Because I don't think I ever really caught wind of what it was.
I think hers was more or less like she matured a little, like, she matured in the years until leaving the vault, and she's just mainly like extremely determined to help people, and she uses her unconventional methods, and her whole thing is learning. I feel like her whole arc would have been learning that she's allowed to help other people while still helping herself, because I feel like she'd be too self-sacrificial and be like, I know what it's like when, like, things are shitty in the vault, so I'm gonna protect everyone. Not the best idea.
I
But then-
think you could still do that.
Well, how Ant is now, I just realized, like, hers would probably now be becoming mature enough, because, God, she still had, like, a dollhouse, and she used her own spit to stick a piece of
how
paper
else
to
would you
the
stick
window.
a piece of paper to him?
I think hers is probably going to need to learn to grow up.
I still think Because Ant, I mean, as is, Ant already has shown that she wants to help other people, right? I mean, this whole arc was about that.
Yeah. She literally threw herself into the arms of a dude with a
muscular skeleton, yeah.
like skeleton. Yeah, like literally just like throw herself into one of the most powerful dudes who almost killed her with his punches, just because she didn't like the fact that that a random nerd kid, a random dweeb, was getting bullied.
How do you guys feel about me as a GM compared to Boyfell, or just at all?
You definitely improved a lot.
I've never had any problems.
Yeah, same.
I think one thing I'm doing differently this time compared to Boyfell, with Boyfell, I had all of these like massive sprawling plans, and also the only experience I had with D&D prior to that was us goofing around and listening to the Adventure Zone, which at that point wasn't even over. Balance wasn't even over. And so I feel like I took a lot of elements from the Adventure Zone balance, and ultimately it wasn't that original early on. I mean, I think I even like made up red robes that weren't even really the same as they ended up being in balance. And then everyone was like, ha 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 ha, look at him, he's stealing from the Adventure Zone. Because every single one of us...
You guys did that to me too, because I
Yeah.
obviously stole from the Adventure Zone a lot.
But
Remember my big, like, special campaign that involved you being a part of a secret organization?
yeah. But I think
Yeah.
the point I've reached over the past couple years is... Because you'd think that the idea is to only make up your own things and be completely original. That's not going to work. What you have to do is try to take inspiration from as many things as you can so that it ends up being a blend of many things rather than just a complete rip-off of one thing, right?
So I could say from a very big experience about that is, as you know, and as we could all probably relate to, when you make something and someone instantly says, hey, that reminds me a lot like blank. It just makes you kind of feel a little shitty because you wanted it to be original, or maybe they caught on to the fact that you were heavily inspired by it, and it makes you feel like you're just copying. You know, it's just a
Just
shitty
a lesser
feeling.
version of it.
Yeah.
It's just a shitty feeling that makes you feel like an off-brand cereal at a Winco. And
Oh, nice.
Chinese knockoff.
I found out from like my big experience in learning that, like my big eye-opening, that if you take a lot of inspiration from many things, just like go batshit with the things you take inspiration from, is when someone points out something it reminds them of, it always feels more special. Like they understood that I was inspired by this, or I didn't know that like was like similar to this. That's super cool. Instead of your normal like, oh, I'm so unoriginal, it feels a lot more special. Like someone knows where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put a spoiler about it because it's planned for later. But one of the campaigns I'm making took a lot of heavy inspiration from so many things that if you guys were to look at me and say, this reminds me of blank, I would probably say thank you.
Yeah.
Unless it was super far off, then I would ask you to explain.
Explain yourself, thief.
It's like, hey, can you explain why you think that? Like, I'm not telling you you're invalid, but how the fuck does this remind you of Monty Python?
Another thing with this campaign is that it's explicitly based on a property, right? It's explicitly based on the Fallout universe. So, compared to coming up with my own original story, I have a lot... Well, I don't say a lot. I have quite a bit... I wouldn't say quite a bit. I have some things to work with.
You have a lot to work with.
Not in Alaska, surprisingly. I have, like, the base lore before the bombs dropped, and then I have a little bit to work with around Anchorage, but that's about it. But no, I have the lore of Fallout to work on, so I get to lean into that and say, when someone says, oh, this is based off of Fallout, I say, yeah, it's in the title. That's the point. But I'm taking Fallout, and I'm trying to make something new and different with it. I mean, tonally, I'm going for something different than Fallout, where Fallout, the games typically lean into something a bit darker, a bit more dreary, and be like, oh, war never changes. But I think with this, I want to emphasize more the strengths of human compassion in the direst of situations, and that's kind of what I'm going to want to lean into, and we're going to try to lean into that for this series, especially as it progresses. But let's see. I was going to say something about my GMing stuff. That's right. With Boyfell, I had this large sprawling plan. This was like 10 minutes ago. But with this game, I'm mostly flying by the seat of my pants. I mean, not entirely. Like, I have basically the way I'm deciding to run it this time is do some research on Alaska as a place, a bunch of staring at Google Maps, and then figure out what people are in this world, what organizations are in this world, what towns, what places are in this world, what do they want, where can they find the things they want, what do they know, and I'm just going to let you guys figure out where this goes, and I'll respond to that. And hopefully we'll steer it into a direction that makes a pretty neat story. And I'll probably have a pretty good plan as we reach into the second half of this campaign, but for now, just kind of figuring it out. Another thing with basing it off of the Fallout games is because of the way the Fallout lore works, we get to do a lot of spoofing off of real life properties, that's like one of my favorite parts. I actually cut this out of episode 3 just a couple hours ago, but we get to spoof off of a lot of real life properties, and I like that a lot. For example, there was a part where Papa Scuff's like, oh, I'm going to pull out my Wizards of the Coast DCI number, freaking Magic the Gathering card, and I'm like, we should call it something different. And then I think
Coastal Wizards!
I think, Sai, you came up with Sorcery the Partaking.
No, I thought that was yours.
I thought that was yours.
Mine was something like...
It might have been Jimmy's.
One of mine had to be like... One of mine had to be like... Wizard... What was... I thought I came up with something silly for like the company name.
It's probably still on the recording, so we can always go back and listen to episode 1 again. But another example was, instead of National Geographic, I came up with National Geological when you were trying to put that thing on your window.
Yeah. What did we make a spoof name for Zoo Books?
I don't think we came up with a spoof name for Zoo Books. We came up with one for National Geographic. But that's one of the things I really like. One of those little things that adds a little bit of humor to the podcast, but it isn't like hugely important.
It doesn't draw you out of the experience either. It's just kind of...
It's just fun.
Yeah.
So I think we need to talk about what happened with Boyfell, right?
Where'd it go?
Oof, where do we begin?
So this was around 2017. For my senior project, I wanted to make a podcast. So over the summer, I got some people together, including you 3 and 2 others who I still talk to once in a while, like once a year or so. And we were like, you guys want to play D&D for a podcast? And everyone was like, yeah. And we started playing D&D for a podcast.
And then we didn't.
God, there's so much that I want to complain about when it comes to it. That was when
we just fell.
Yeah,
boys.
Yeah, that's when we were all really new to D&D too.
It was...
See, the name Boyfell is foreshadowing how the podcast died.
It's just like Gravity Falls.
The boy fell.
I think the biggest problem with Boyfell was we had too many people, and we weren't that tight knit as a friend group, really. I mean, I think I had kind of just asked everyone I knew who I knew had an interest in D&D.
Yeah.
And like, hey, you guys want to record D&D? And then we kind of ended up with this weird conglomeration of like 2 or 3 different friend circles.
Yeah, like...
Because Lefty, I know you didn't know any of them except for me.
Nope.
I think Sai, you knew Levi.
I knew everybody except
Lefty.
Except for Tal.
And I just knew the 2 people that just talked.
And I learned who Ross was after I started hanging out with you, because you know what.
Yeah. So the ultimate thing was, you guys were good at playing it, but it was a really strange dynamic between the group, because I was sort of the only one who knew everyone. And I think because of that, we weren't able to keep the schedule going very well. Not only because we were such like kind of mashed together friend groups, but also because there was just too many people to keep a tight schedule in terms of recording.
Mm-hmm.
We all had different activities.
Yeah, and what we tried...
Different time zones.
Yeah. I was depressed.
Oh, yeah.
I was asleep.
Yeah, who am I kidding? I'm still depressed, but I just kick
who
myself in the
wasn't?
butt and gets up.
I think Levi constantly had...
Band
their-
practice.
Well, I had band practice too, and so did Ross. But Levi constantly had their dad like streaming Overwatch, I think, which was a huge problem because we could never record because their dad was
Yeah,
always
for-
streaming Overwatch.
And yet they would always like play a Pokemon game on their DS or something while we were recording, and we'd all be like, Levi, we could hear it.
I think it was Breath of the Wild
Yeah.
because I remember cutting
It
out the
was
sounds.
me. I was playing Breath of the Wild.
Not in 2017.
They were, I don't know, they were doing something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like a Pokemon game or something.
It was definitely Levi. I remember cutting it out from Levi's tracks, but
There's always someone making noise.
yeah, even now.
Oh god, I felt really bad. I feel really bad looking back on it because I kept trying to I feel like I kept trying to be the center of attention, which was really awkward.
No, not particularly.
Personally to me,
I mean, I never noticed it if you were, but
I was trying the best I could.
yeah.
And that's all we can ask
The
for.
podcast itself, it was fine. I liked doing the music for it. I had a rule for myself, which is I think it was do a music track for every episode, which was a good way to get me to do music. It was not a good way to get me not to be stressed out. So for what I'm doing for this podcast is I'll do music when I feel like it. So, I mean, there's going to be the intro music and the outro music. For episode 3, there was a piece of music that I just recorded earlier today, actually. And, I have some pieces of music planned for later in the game. So there's going to be music, just like with Boyfell. It's not going to be the same genre or the same frequency of it, but it's going to be there. I still want to flex those muscles.
Can I talk about the great Boyfell commission disaster?
Oh, yeah. I feel bad about it, too. So,
Oh, don't worry.
This is news to me.
I'm not mad at you guys at all. It was just me,
Well-
thinking, I can do this, and I couldn't.
Oh, never mind. It's not news.
So, it was mainly me just not speaking up and not, putting my foot down and being like, I can't do this. So, it's just mainly I learned from it, but, so... if you watch past episodes of Boyfell, particularly on YouTube,
the first
you'll
5, I think?
notice,
Watch.
you'll notice that each of them have a different piece of art.
Mhm.
This was because when we were first planning things out and getting stuff recorded, I said, "Hey Max, I really want to draw my own piece of art for Syvan's character introduction." God, it feels so weird to say Syvan because it's so close to my name now.
I was thinking the exact same fucking thing.
God, it's so awkward. But anyway, so I was like, I'm gonna draw something for it. And I decided to try something completely new, something I never did before. And that was doing lineless art
It
with
was
the
really
cute
good.
little crayon style.
Yeah, I really liked
It's
it.
still adorable. It is still a cute little piece. And it took me forever. It took 50 layers because I didn't know what I was doing. I fixed up that drawing 3 times afterwards because of how many details I missed.
Yeah.
And I showed it to Max, and he was like, "Whoa, that's really good." And I was like, "Oh, thank you."
I think
And he was like, "Hey."
because what you suggested was that, why doesn't everybody draw their own art?
Yeah,
For the
because I
thing?
thought it'd be fun because most of you guys are artists, and the only one I could say that isn't is Jimmy, and having a stick figure dragon for his character introduction would be hilarious.
I was gonna say, if you ever wanted to, if Simon, if you didn't ever want to do an art or something because you're just not feeling it, commission me. I'll draw whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'll do it. I will do it.
For whatever reason, I didn't like that idea of Jimmy drawing a stick figure because I kind of wanted it to be. I wanted to take the whole campaign seriously. I wanted to be like, no, this is a piece of fucking art. We're taking this all seriously. No jokes allowed.
Stick
Maybe
figures are
no
art.
jokes
I wasn't-
allowed, Mister.
I wasn't that extreme,
Are you
but-
making fun of my accent?
Are you making fun of my accent? Yeah, the whole thing's just kind of a joke now, but at the time, I had serious plans, and I kind of wanted it to... I mean, I didn't want to say, no jokes, but I wanted it to go like the Adventures Unbalanced did, where it was jokes, but it wasn't like non-serious, you know? Where it would be taken seriously. And because of that, I was like, well, I don't really want Jimmy to draw his own if he's going to draw a stick figure. I would prefer if you did it, you know, like not really thinking about the consequences of asking you to draw every single piece of art for the first 5 episodes plus the cover art.
Oh boy. So
actually, I think you didn't draw everyone. I think
I drew everything.
Did you?
Yes, I drew every single piece.
I did PM Noir.
That's right. I thought you drew yours, Lefty.
No, I did everyone.
You did all of them? Okay. I wasn't sure.
So that's where the problem came in, is you suggested that I do all of them because you were like, I really like this style. This would be so pretty for the series. And I was like, yeah, okay.
I feel like I was really pushy about it in a way that was not nice.
I was
pushy about a lot of other things too.
Let's be
behind
honest,
the
we
camera.
were all not in a great place around the time.
Fucking God. So there was one time Levi had, I think, forgotten to record. The recording got fucked up or whatever. And I just had a fucking shit fit. Cause this is my baby, right? And I'm like, this is my senior project. I gotta take this seriously. By the way, it didn't end up being my senior project because they changed the rules after the summer, and I had to do something else. But I had a fucking shit fit. I went nuclear on Levi, and then Lefty's like, I have a backup recording after like half an hour of me screaming. I'm like, okay, send me that.
So
I feel terrible about it.
I still have an audio file of you trying to explain to the listeners like what happened and like apologizing for, you know, the episode being delayed and the audio quality being bad.
Oh my god, I have got to, like, okay, if I already posted a thread on my twitter.com account about my slow descent into madness, but if you watch those episodes, or at least just look at the art on them, you could see as it slowly deteriorates as my mental sanity
I never noticed, but I'm sure if I look now I would see it.
I never noticed.
Okay, so it was Simon, I did the most effort. Lynn, I had no idea what I was doing because I didn't know Tal at all. So I was like, what does he want? What does he like? And all that happened was he was like, hey, you made Lynn's hair a little too fluffy. Can you calm it down? And I was like, okay, that's
Chill
it.
That's it out, boy.
A little less fluff, and that was all it was. Then there was Golby, and that's when you could really tell I no longer wanted to draw full character portraits with a background.
Golby's was really good still, anyway.
I did not like that one because you could tell, like, I was like, I'm gonna try to make it like this, and it didn't work out.
I mean, I think they were all really good, but
I look back on them, and like for me, you could tell how how sloppier they got. The worst of them being Abzo, and that's because, fun story, I kept asking Levi to send me a reference for Abzil, and he didn't send me one for like months.
Yeah.
And then Max would dig on me like, hey, why aren't you doing it yet? And I'd be like, well, guess who isn't sending me the reference? I made a comic about it when I was making comics at the time because I was like, this is my job for now. It was not. And then the worst of them, I decided no more lineless art, and I did the cover. God, I hate the cover for the main series so much.
I think I noticed it too, but I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to diss on your art. I noticed that it had lines, and I'm like, this is like the exact opposite of what you've been doing for the rest of the of them.
I like never did line-laced art before, and then suddenly I was pumping it out at an extreme rate. Like, so I was just like, I'm gonna do my normal thing. And, like, you were like, okay, you could do your normal thing. And I did, but because I was so tired, my normal thing looked... Yeah. I didn't even do my normal thing, because at the time, I would color line art. And that time, I was just like, fuck it, it's staying black.
I think you can tell when you look at that one that the colors are all really muted and dark, which I didn't think fit the tone of the show. But, you know, ultimately, it didn't really matter. I don't remember the next part of the song. Point being, Boy fell apart, mostly because of just like a lack of communication. I think our last ditch effort to keep the show alive was PM Noir, because we only had a few of us available to record. And then I only ever edited the first episode of that. We did the full thing.
Yeah.
Sai completely
I
improv'd it, and it was
improvised.
actually really good.
I'm so
Um,
glad you think that. Okay, fun fact about PM Noir. I was actually really angry when you asked me to DM it at the time.
I'm sure you fucking were.
Yeah, you just came out of nowhere with it and then started telling me ideas for it. And at the time I was like, first of all, you want me to DM for it, and second of all, you're now telling me how to DM? That is, like, I literally have a journal entry in my notebook because I got so angry. And now I look back on it like, God, like,
It was
thankful
fun.
I did a good job.
It was a fun, like, I mean, we all recorded it at once, and you, like, pretty much bullshitted it.
I bullshitted it.
And it came out, like, really well for, like, a totally improvised mystery, especially.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun in the end, after I got over the fact that I was
an
angry.
asshole.
We were just in a really shitty zone at the time.
Yeah.
And none of us really communicated with each other much, and we were all just in rocky states.
Yeah.
I was in a shitty mental health state.
Yeah.
I just slept a lot.
Yeah, Jimmy, I still think you sleep too much.
You still sleep a lot.
No,
It's not
I
as bad.
actually
It's not as bad.
don't. No,
Yeah, you
I
can
actually
get
don't.
better.
I sleep at like 10 to like 6 in the morning now.
Yeah.
I've actually got good.
I do midnight to 8 usually.
I don't like waking up like before 8 or 9 actually.
Yeah.
Hell, before noon feels off.
I go to
But
bed
whatever, it's enjoyment.
whenever I
I
can.
must get 12 hours no matter what.
I go to bed whenever I can. I just have to wake up at 8:30 on the dot.
Yeah, I've been doing midnight to 8 past couple weeks. And that's been working out pretty well. So yeah, Boyfa fell apart. So why did we decide to do this again?
Because we have a death wish.
Because we're better fucking people and we're having fun.
We have a death wish.
So originally I didn't want to do this as a podcast. Last year, I was running a campaign for some of the people on my floor in my residence hall. And I was really excited to finish it. And then we got halfway through the campaign, which is the furthest I've ever gotten through a campaign. And then people just stopped showing up. And I had wanted to run a Fallout campaign with those people. And, it just never happened because everybody got busy. And I'm still mad about it. And I still hate half of them, but I'm still friends with the other half. It's a big deal. So I asked you guys, because this is around the time, there was a thing that happened between Sai and me for like a few months, but don't feel like talking about it.
Yeah.
I started getting back into touch with you, Sai, and I think I asked Jimmy first if you wanted to be part of the Fallout campaign, and then I asked you, Sai, and then we decided we might want to do it as a podcast, and so I asked Lefty, do you want to do it, and we can put it on the Loud Lads channel? And so you guys all said yes, and it just kind of started to be a podcast.
And it's a lot more fun now. It's a lot easier to manage, too. Now that we're not in school all the time.
I mean, I'm in school all the time, but don't worry about it.
Going to be in school all the time.
Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. Yeah, we decided to bring it back together. And so we went and made our characters. And originally I had said I wanted everybody to be a human character because I didn't want you guys to be all separated during the first arc. But then Lefty came forward and said, can I be a Mr. Handy? And I thought about it, and I'm like, well, if you end up being a Mr. Handy, you're probably not going to have a lot to do during the introduction section. And you were like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And so I didn't think it was going to be as bad as it was, where you were doing jack shit for 3 episodes.
You were there for moral support.
And, basically, your entire audio track was sometimes nose exhaling.
Yeah.
And, a lot of background noise during the last 2 episodes. So, that's what that was. How did you feel about that?
I mean, the thing about me is that I don't really play these tabletop RPG games, so, I don't mind just listening.
Yeah. I mean, you've expressed that before, where it's you're more of a... You don't mind being an observer kind of player. And, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I still feel bad.
Mostly because I have no idea what I'm doing.
I still feel bad not giving you very much to do for several hours of game time, like a month's worth of episodes, 2 months. Yeah, we're doing bi-weekly, so 2 months worth of episodes. So I feel bad about not giving you much to do, and it's probably going to continue for the next episode or two until we finally get a chance to insert you into the story. But
Boy, Ant's gonna love that.
Totally cool,
to
bro.
be a robo friend.
oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Right. So that finale, that last episode was the last episode you, Ant, and Papa Skuff sort of fought Isaiah? Wow, I forgot my own character's name. Good job.
I don't blame you.
I think that's the first time I've done it. You guys fought Isaiah, and I feel like throughout the arc we kind of built it up as like with this whole skeletal enhancer thing, and then I gave you a tool to completely nullify the skeletal enhancer, and then he didn't have the skeletal enhancer for the whole fight after it was used.
And he still punched the fuck out of me.
And then
I had to get guards.
And then you went and got guards, and I'm like, well, that's the end of the fight. I really liked the idea. I forget who suggested it. I really liked the idea of Papa Skuff using the EMP targeting device to like lift up a bunch of tables and fuck with the environment. I really thought that would have been really cool, but I think Ant, you were like, no, you shouldn't do that. You should lay low and not fuck around so that I can just fight him. And I was like,
I wish they fucked
I
with
wish
the
they
tables.
fucked with the tables.
I love fucking tables. Wait.
I want to stick my dick in a boombox. No, I just feel like the fight could have been more exciting, but the episode was still good. The first arc was still pretty good. And then I kind of dropped a bombshell on you guys, and I was like, guess what? Everyone is leaving the vault. Not just Papa Skuff, not even like just Papa Skuff and Ant. Everyone is leaving the vault. A huge cliffhanger. Why the fuck is that happening? It's too early, right?
Yeah, I'm just like, ooh.
So that's going to get resolved.
Can Todd Howard be a permanent part of the party?
I'm not shitting you guys because Ant is leaving so early. I'm actually considering her regaining a good relationship with the Smiths, because this would be horrifying for any like young teenager that even your adoptive family you don't give a shit about would be like, okay, time to not be a little shit to them.
Yeah. I would like to see some character growth between Ant and the Smiths. So
that would actually be sweet.
I'll give you some opportunities to do that when I can. Speaking of the next arc, or I guess the rest of the series, I haven't completely decided on what it's going to be called. I have a few ideas, and I think the most likely idea that I'm probably going to go with is Beating to Dead Horse.
What?
I'm fearful.
Dead Horse is a town in northern Alaska. It's like one of the only ones connected by highway to the rest of Alaska, so do with that what you will,
Beating off a
That's
dead
not what I
horse.
said.
No.
Not what I said. Didn't say that one. It's one word, Dead Horse. All right. Do you want to talk about the laptop?
So what happened was, right when Max commissioned me to actually gave me money this time, unlike the first time.
I gave
to
money.
make a logo, which I have still neglected doing, so
It's
I'm gonna
great.
have to do that soon.
And then I made my own, and I actually kind of like it.
I'm sorry, I don't have money to return to you.
It's okay. You can still make it.
Well, right around the time that I got commissioned to make the logo, and we had just finished up the arc, I believe.
We had finished the second episode.
Yeah, so we had finished the second
episode. We were halfway
episode.
through.
I was in the middle of drawing some sweet, cute art of Link, Breath of the Wild Link. And while I was drawing it, I was like, alright, time to post this on my Twitter.com. So I flipped my laptop back into laptop mode because it goes into tablet mode, and that's how I drew.
Yeah.
And it just fucking snapped. The hinge broke the back of the laptop off. And I was like, oh shit. That's new. Because my laptop was broken in the past before. My friends should know this. So one time the CPU just busted and it wouldn't turn on or off. And my dad had to find this out through Morse code in the caps lock key.
Yeah.
And that was easy peasy lemon squeezy. It just got fixed, sent back within like a few weeks, and boom, art again. But this was something else. So,
This is advanced darkness.
Oh yeah, it was advanced darkness. So, I had to wait for my parents to get home that day. I think they might have been even on a trip coming home, so it was taking them hours to get back.
That's right.
So I had to just put my laptop on the kitchen table, upright. I was too scared to close it because it would snap. If this is getting posted on YouTube instead of anywhere else, I will send you a picture.
Send that to Lefty.
Yeah, I will send that picture to Lefty so he could just slap it up right now. Bada bing, bada boom. God, so my laptop broke, so I was shit out of luck, so I couldn't do art. And I just got commissioned to do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't do anything on the computer.
Yeah.
I couldn't apply for a job. I couldn't
Record.
do shit. I was out of luck. I was
couldn't
like,
record for like 2 months.
For a whole month.
It was a test of our commitment to this.
It was.
It was a test of the Adventure Zone commitment to this. And so during that time, I was still able to record the first half of episode 3 with Jimmy. And that was when he stabbed Mandy's dad. Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Well, you should be listening to this after the first arc. If you aren't, it's your own fault. And so I never told you guys until when we recorded the second half of episode 3, like a few weeks later. So you guys were sitting not knowing what Jimmy and I were giggling about every fucking time we mentioned Papa Skuff.
Yeah. And make it even better, you guys, like, I still had my recording equipment, and my dad let me use one of his computers for a temporary fix, so I could still do stuff, except for draw, because I didn't have a tablet.
Yeah.
And I was like, but the problem is his computer was in the computer room, which was not only right next to our biggest stereo in the house, and my parents' room, but the shit was so echoey in there.
Yeah.
It was so bad. I couldn't record because, like, you would get my parents bursting in every 5 minutes, like, hey, sport, what you doing?
Hey,
What's
sport.
going on? You talking to your friends? We heard voices coming in here. You talking to your friends? And I'd be like, yeah.
Yes, I'm talking to my friends.
Nani, the fuck do
Get the
you
fuck out,
want?
Mom. I don't love you.
If you don't have ice cream, leave me alone.
No, so basically all we really did was play Minecraft that whole
Yep.
time. Until, so during that time, my laptop was sitting on the table for weeks. We were waiting for a call from the computer company because we had a warranty on it. That shit, no matter what, was going to be free. So we were like, okay, whatever, as long as we don't pay for it. Because if it wasn't on the warranty, I wouldn't have a laptop at all. Like,
Yeah.
ever again, until I get the money for it. So thank
maybe
God.
not ever again, but, you know.
Until I get the money, which I still don't have that type of money.
Yeah.
So
I think at one point, I suggested that I come over and bring my microphone so that we could record on the same track. And I think the reason we didn't do that was because Jimmy wasn't available, and I think we just ended up doing some other shit. But
yeah.
Or I didn't go for whatever reason. But that never ended up happening.
And but here's the fun part that comes up with the laptop broke story. We finally got a call back. We finally send my laptop in. It's smooth sailing from here. They just gotta fix it and send it back.
Right.
And then after a few days, we
Smooth
get a call
sailing.
saying we get a call saying, "Hey, your laptop, they don't make parts for this anymore, so we can't fix it. We're gonna have to send it back, and you're gonna have to go to Costco and like return it or exchange it." So fuck. So basically, shit hit the fan. I was in a panic.
Quality
because-
warranty right there.
Yeah, we got like $600 back from it. Okay, a little less, like around 600.
Not bad.
Yeah, it was a decent laptop. I'm surprised it broke only a year after I had it. God, oh my god, it was a nice laptop and it broke so quickly. So, we finally got some information. Hooray. We got a plan now. And that plan was we'd go to Costco, get the money back in exchange. Boom. Get a new laptop. And we went to Costco, and there was no good laptop there. Every laptop there was complete and total shit. And the one that wasn't complete and total shit was out of our price range. We couldn't afford it. So I was in, like, desperation, like, oh my god. This is the worst thing. I was getting, like, really upset about it, and then eventually it popped in my head. I was like, hey Dad, what if instead of buying a laptop that will probably break again doing one of its fucking functions that it's made to do? God, I'm still mad about that.
Like my Nintendo DS Lite.
Yeah, fuck that.
In 2012, 11? 11.
Same.
Anyway, so during that time, I was like, hey Dad, instead of getting a laptop that could possibly break again and cause more stress, how about we invest this money into a PC? Because I asked him, like, hey, can you just upgrade one later? Or, like, you know, like, I get it's not portable, but, like, it lasts longer, right? And he's like, yeah, we've had, like, the same computer for years. Trust me, we still have my childhood computers. Okay? I'm using a monitor I've used since, like, at the beginning of high school.
Yeah.
Like, right now. So, trust me, shit lasts. And I was like, okay, cool. How about we put that money into a computer? And he's like, well, I got computers at home. I could just give you one of mine. Because my dad's the PC guy.
He's a PC gamer?
He kind of is. I showed Jimmy his StarCraft games.
Ah, crap.
What? What's up, Jimmy?
Oh, hold on. I'm gonna do a big reveal in, like, a couple seconds.
Okay, so Jimmy, but you could confirm, my dad's the computer dude.
Yeah, computer dude. Yeah.
He's a computer dude. So he was just like, I could just give you it. So I was like, hey Dad, what if we put that money from the laptop into something I know won't break because it was made for drawing? So we invested in a Cintiq, which any artist here...
What are we gonna call this episode thing?
Surviving the
Surviving
podcast?
the podcast.
So, okay, well, okay, no shit. Sorry.
Good reveal. We
No,
started the episode with that, Jimmy.
Dude, your toes are gonna be mine. Send toe pics.
I thought you were the finger slicer. That's a joke that no one listening is going to get. On our Discord server, I'm called Professional Finger, Jimmy's called Professional Finger Slicer, Sai is called Professional Finger Reattacher, and Lefty is called Professional Finger Eater. So,
I started the trend.
I'm not in a very good place right now on this Discord server. I don't feel safe. So you got a Cintiq.
Yeah, so I got a Cintiq, which is an artist-grade professional. This shit not only has like a 4+ year warranty on it, I think my dad might have went all out and got like an 8-year one. So this fucker is not going down for a very long time. But this is
what's it called?
Cintiq. A Cintiq. A Wacom Cintiq.
Wacom.
It's essentially just a second monitor that I used to draw on. And here's my favorite thing about it. My laptop, whenever I used a laptop pen to draw, it needed batteries. Specifically quadruple A batteries, which are a bitch to get in my house, compared to AAA.
That's too many A's.
Yeah. Is how I feel whenever I have to get another. But Wacom doesn't have that shit. Essentially, I got something made to last by a good company, and he's my dad. I had to tell him straight up, like, don't trust Huion. I'm sorry to any Huion users out there, but fuck that company. I think there's a reason that why their screen tablets are so cheap. Yeah. And after hearing some horror stories about how they break down after a while, I'm gonna take my chances and just go expensive and just get a Cintiq.
I mean, well, actually, you wouldn't be taking your chances by going expensive, because you're taking fewer chances.
I'm just sitting here now like, oh god, I love my Cintiq. The only problem is I have to wear a funky artist glove, which my dad got.
Oh, yeah!
My dad got for $8.
Yeah,
you told me about that.
But the Funky Arts Club, one problem is the Artist Club is from Huyan, and the shit is already breaking. So that should tell you how great their products are. Haha.
Oh no.
But yeah, so now I finally got an art thing that isn't gonna fucking break. But here's where another problem comes in, which I added to the bullet. So this one is a lot less of a problem, but there might be a slight, hiatus in one or two of the episodes later in the series, because I'm going to go to college.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go to college.
that's right. We started talking about this. Well, you brought it up
Yes.
about coming to Harvard University. Is where I am at.
Yeah. We could record together.
I have just doxed myself and Sai in a few months. But that's okay.
Yeah, you might wanna bleep that shit out.
I mean, if you want me to, I will. But
just replace it with something like
I don't
cool
care.
College.
I don't care. But if you want me to, I'll bleep it out.
What you should do, if you're gonna bleep it out, you should remove it and then later re-record some random, college name in a
Harvard
monotone
University.
voice.
Harvard.
And use that. I'm gonna be going
Harvard.
to Harvard
Harvard.
University and stick it
Harvard
all over.
University.
Please do that. Please do
right.
Harvard.
Okay, I was waiting for you to get Batmax, but I've made a giggle, gaff, and a goof all wrapped in one.
Yeah.
So I know you didn't ask me to, but over the past 30 minutes, I've been making a thumbnail for the for this little episode.
Okay.
Here it is.
Oh no.
Let's see.
Let me see what it looks. Oh my god!
I
This is
put way too
terrible.
much effort into it, and I wish I didn't, but I did. Here you go. Happy birthday.
I'm not using.
Saved
I
you
love
the work.
the Heckaboo icon.
We're not using this.
The majority of my 30 minutes spent was on that Heckapoo.
We're not
She
using
got those
this.
bedroom
We
eyes.
can't
I
use
love
this.
how you made me. I look like the Animal Crossing villager on crack.
We cannot use
But
this.
why not?
Please, if this is going on YouTube, put this on the screen for the remainder.
This
of
will
the
be on the
episode.
YouTube one, but we
Okay,
cannot
okay,
use
okay.
this on.
That's fine. That is fine. As long as it gets used somehow. I want my efforts to be viewed.
I'll put it up when you reveal it to us, or I guess Lefty will put it up when you.
God,
reveal
I
it
need to
us.
throw away this Luigi hat.
Yeah.
Get this thing out of my life.
It's just gonna be there forever.
No.
That's what you're known for now, man.
I hate the Heckapoo so much. I hate the eyelashes.
I hate
The
my
eyelashes-
icon because I legit just look like the Animal Crossing villager on meth.
You do.
But
Oh,
honestly,
God.
Lefty, if it
Okay.
wasn't for your the Luigi hat, we'd look the same in all my doodles.
You didn't even get the
It's
weird
true.
mouth thing right on your.
Dude, I
Oh,
couldn't
God.
using fucking paint is so hard. I'm not talking about paint 3D. I'm talking just default
I
paint.
have to change my profile picture.
Also, it's
Yeah.
my third drawing. I have no idea how to use paint.
Sorry, Jimmy. Your picture's out of date now.
Oh.
I just changed my profile picture back to Toru.
Well, I don't have a fucking drawing tablet or a touch screen. I'm using a mouse, a gaming mouse, because this is artwork of a pure gamer.
Is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we?
He's
Finish
gonna
up.
be going to college.
The college thing is one, it's good for my mental health, as said
It
by
is.
my counselor and myself. And two,
And me. Me too.
Max and I are gonna go get weed mac and cheese together.
We're not gonna do the weed part.
Just the mac and cheese.
There's a mac and cheese truck in this town that typically you go to when you're high or drunk. I've never been there high or drunk, but the mac and cheese
Please
is
take
good.
me there.
Well, you're across the country.
Just fly me over there, please. So I'm actually going to be moving soon, and in my new place, it's possible that I won't be able to record at night anymore. Because, I'd wake up neighbors and shit.
Okay, so where are you?
Is it going to be an apartment?
It's gonna be in a trailer.
Are you moving
Oh, shit.
closer to us?
That's the idea.
Ooh, get a plane ticket and come over here and get some weed cheese with us.
I'd love to.
It's not weed.
I love weed.
Anything else? No, we're not going to talk about penis.
Wait, what?
Sorry.
Who typed?
Sorry. I know you did just type penis. We're not doing that.
I know exactly who.
I have something to say.
Is it
If
the
you're a fan of the Steven Universe television show and have not yet seen the movie, you are morally and legally obligated to watch the movie.
It was really good.
It's really good.
I've heard it was good.
That's all.
Thanks.
Bye.
Yeah, so follow us on Twitter at followsotn. Tweet us any questions you have about the podcast. We may answer some of those.
I sure as fuck will.
the-
I crave human interaction.
Tweet at us anything at all. Please, we need fans.
Anything at all. If you tweet any questions, we'll answer them in the next Surviving the Podcast. Thanks for interrupting me every fucking time I try to say that. All of you are the problem.
You just delete us all from the podcast and do it all by yourself and do everybody's
That's right.
voices.
That's right.
Like,
It's gonna be that Mandy scene from episode 3, but the rest of the podcast is gonna be that.
We must eliminate the middle class.
Okay, thank you, Gumball.
Oh no, he's gonna make it an anime thing.
Thank you guys for listening to Surviving the Podcast 1 of Phil to Capacitor. Of many. Of several. Yeah, you know, it means a lot that people are listening to this. We're just kind of doing this for fun, but we appreciate anyone who wants to listen to this. And we'll see you guys next week for the start of the next arc, presumably beating to Dead Horse, or whatever else I decide to call it.
bye.
Bye.
Bye, friends.
They said Alaska was so cold. They said to live there you gotta be oh so bold. They never knew just what we had till it was gone. Alaska, where'd you go? Alaska, where'd you go? Alaska, where'd you go? Why'd you go away? Alaska, where'd you go? Alaska, where did you go? Alaska, where'd you go? Why'd you go away? Yeah. They said Alaska must be cold. They said to live there you must be oh so bold. They never knew just what we had till it was gone.